Hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. This is one of my weirdest challenges, the SkyGloo, and as you likely know, we just hit the fun celebration of 200 days survived in hardcore. This is my longest lasting hardcore world, and it's one that spawned in an igloo in the sky. Genuinely, it looks like a challenge you shouldn't even be able to survive, but here I am having managed to survive 200 days above Y200. I'm just realizing now, I probably should have made like a fun title about that, like 200 days with above 200 blocks. But in any case, I am here today oh yeah, look at the sugarcane. I'm here today because I want to tell you what's going to happen for SkyGloo Series 3. Season 1 was the first journey out to the edge and the sign that we could make some stuff. In Season 2, we got this, the lava bucket. It makes so much possible and it's incredible. And in Season 3, I'm going to be going to the Nether for the first time. But, yeah, I think to talk about it in kind of a long form, I want to share my... Why do I have... Oh, it's because of the machine. I want to kind of talk in long form about what my plans are, because I have a few big ones, and I think it'd be good if we were all on the same page. So let's chop down some trees, and let's talk about what that page is. So in this world, I have currently a big pathway that takes me out in the positive Z, positive X direction. It takes me about 5,000 blocks over to the nearest mountains that have iron and stone. However, at the coordinates, I'm going to have to load up the document here. At the coordinates 11,000 positive and negative 8,000 on the Z. So about 8,000 blocks that way and 19,000 blocks that way. I have some dripstone. Meaning if I can make 19,000 slabs, in reality, it should be a little bit less because I've got a jungle that's out there about... 2,000 to 3,000 blocks away. But so if I can just get myself about 16,000 slabs, which should be about 8,000 planks, which should be about 2,000 logs. If I can just get myself those easy peasy 2,000 logs, I mean, who doesn't have 2,000 logs chilling around at any point? But if I can get myself those logs, we should be good. Can I do that? Well, let's find out. I need to use logs to get myself back up to the point where I can actually destroy this tree easily. And let's do this. So yeah, the hoodie looks very comfy at least, says Tank Girl. 11,000 minus 8,000, correct? Yes, Dasher, thank you for... I feel like this is the most important coordinate to get right before we start placing, because we'd get 2,000 blocks wasted otherwise. So 2,000 blocks is the equivalent, if I'm not mistaken, looking at an inventory space, we can fit 64 times 9... 560, 560. 2,000 blocks is enough that we could fill up our entire inventory with them, and we would only just about make it. So we're going to have to make the pathway, say, 5,000 blocks long, or place a bunch of it in a chest out there, and then go out and do some more. It's going to be wild, but it's what we've got to do, so it's going to be fun. I guess actually what we should do is we should make a chest boat, and then bring the chest boat as far out as we can, and then we can replenish our supplies from the chest boat. That's my plan. That's the move. Let's see if we can do it. So hello everyone, how's it going? Happy Saturday. I'm very excited to be back here in the SkyGloo world, and honestly, can you see everything still? Yeah, you can. Honestly, as excited as I am to be back here, I've got to say, I have some like real trepidations about what comes next, because we also have to make a big decision together, chat. I would love to pretend that I understand fully how this works, but I now have to decide, first of all, is the Nether even allowed? You could argue above Y200 means no Nether access whatsoever, but the way I've taken it is that you should only have access to the equivalent of Y200 in each dimension that we go through, which for the Nether works out to be something like Y80 and above. Thank you, Jeff Kalen! Season 3 kickoff. Yes, indeed. Thank you very kindly, Mr. Jeff Kalen. I'm glad that you're excited to be here. Also, IBX Teletubby, says KMB. I'm actually impressed that everyone immediately saw it was a Teletubby costume. I felt like if you couldn't see the little, this thing, what is that, like a television box in my stomach? I felt like it wasn't immediately obvious what I was wearing. And so I'm glad that people understand immediately that you can't truly, this is a true fact, that you can't really you know, like make a Minecraft video without being dressed as a Teletubby. It's just one of those facts of the universe. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it sure is true. So yeah, we're gonna make ourselves a chest boat. Put the chest boat somewhere near there, I would say, and then we're gonna start filling that chest boat quite relentlessly. I also have to now like dump out a bunch of blocks. But yeah, I'm very excited that this challenge has made it this far. But the next challenges involve things like, okay, I think blaze rods aren't an essential ingredient or anything like that. I can technically get brewing stands of outlaw. No, I can't. So, no, I do have a brewing stand. I guess that brewing stand came from the igloo. So I can technically get brewing stand without them. And so it's not, like, essential in the biggest of ways. But what is crazy about it, let's go to bed, first of all. By the way, that's day 200, officially survived. It's very recognizable. The top bit on your head gives it away. That's true. I figured it might not be obvious what it is. Like, when it folds down, it looks like I'm just wearing a funny little hat. If I take this off, maybe it's a little bit less obvious, too. Yeah, I saw, I was at a theme park, and I saw a bunch of people dressed as Teletubbies, and I was like, I bet you could, you know, like, I think the interesting thing about modern fashion is that basically everything that you could want to, why is this only a single chest? Basically anything that you can imagine, like, is something you can buy. So taste, you know, like, this is something people talk about a lot when it comes to, like, LLMs and the idea that AI is going to take everything. People believe that, like, if it's so easy to create slop, of course slop will rise to the top. But I make the argument that actually, the more access you have to stuff, the more your taste becomes important. It's not that the less your taste matters, it's that your taste is the only thing that matters now. Because you could, you know, Sora 2, is that the app where you can endlessly, you know, like, stream content? I feel like, you know, like, that's made by an algorithm somewhere. I feel like Sora 2's existence is not something that excites many people at all. It excites people who are scared of it. And so, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over to there, and I'm going to just start filling this with the resources. I'm going to be very careful about this, because this could go horribly, horribly wrong. But, yeah, the plan is to fill this with spruce planks. I think that's the easiest way for me to make blocks still. I could be horribly wrong about that, of course. But I think it to be true, and so I will believe it to be true. So this, we need to fill this entire chest with spruce logs. All of these spaces here need to be spruce logified. And then I need to take some spaces in my inventory. And then I will have enough blocks to go. If you don't finish chopping down trees, creepers spawn there. Yeah, that's the, it's the biggest reason not to go in the middle of a night in that way. Also, I'm going to go pick up some more ice. I still don't know that I have a grand plan for this ice, besides maybe making the boat path longer. If I'm going to be going out 10,000 blocks, actually, as well as having all those planks and slabs, maybe it makes sense to have a ton of ice. In fact, it definitely makes sense to have a ton of ice, right? I should make a second boat and fill it with ice. Or maybe just make my own ice pathway. But yeah, I think, weirdly enough, ice boats might be my real form of transport in this world, which is fun to be able to say. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking that we get this done this way. Have you played any more Soul Steel? I've been playing it a lot, but it's very grindy. Not sure there's much beyond the first 2 dungeons. So are there any more dungeons, Canby, if you've been playing? Yeah, I just get the impression that right now you're watching the first 10% of the server, and it's a very cool 10% vertical slice or whatever you want to call it. But it shows that their #1 value, the thing that they are most keen on, is the the thing that they think is their best foot to put forwards or whatever. It's a grind fest server. And that's fine, but that is what it is, you know. So let's go put the ice in. Every few days we can harvest that ice, and it's going to make a big difference for us in the long run. I'm going to need a whole second ice chest, aren't I? I definitely am. So let's now make another couple of chests so we can finish out this storage area. It's a beautiful little storage area, I know. But make a couple of more of those, and we'll be good to go. Did you get it from Primark? Yeah, so the Teletubby costume, literally, I really want anyone who, I want to be Very clear about this one. I bought this on a website that has just changed the pronunciation of their name. It used to be called Temu. Now they've started calling it Temu. It's up to you what you call it. Like anything else in this world. You know, you can respect their decisions or you cannot. But it's interesting because I am amazed at how much this costs, chat. A whole costume. It's got a zipper in. It's got a... it's actually broken already. But this whole costume, it cost me £16, and I got a £10 discount on that with free shipping. So I spent £6 on this. I haven't unlocked any new dungeons yet. Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La La, Po, Po, Teletubbies, Teletubbies, say hello. Yeah, that's... I'm amazed at the cultural extent that the Teletubbies has, such that I can wear this and immediately everyone in chat is like, why is Toy Cat a Teletubby? You know, you should be like, wow, what is Toy Cat dressed at? Is Toy Cat some form of weird Minecraft thing that I don't know? That's the only way I can explain it. You all outed yourself as Teletubby fans. Anyway, I basically, you need to learn to spell armor correctly. Lol, JK, by the way. So the editor that I use for all my stream highlights is North American. He's from Mexico. So I believe I think one of the funny, like, one of the things that's funny about, like, having a team now is having to have, like, style guides for things like, yeah, we use the British spelling when it's inside a video, and if it's search engine optimizationable, we use the American spelling. Which is a dumb... Like, it's a really easy rule to implement yourself. It's like, yeah, if it is something that people will search for, statistically, it is a dumb decision to use the niche spelling. But the niche spelling is the correct spelling, so I use it in all cases where it doesn't matter. Which is effectively saying, I mean, you could argue that's like saying you don't have values. But I would argue that the dumbest hill to die on would be your spelling of certain words. I used to, you know, my biggest shame, chat, is I used to... In school, I'd have teachers be very upset with me because I'd spell like realize with a Z and stuff like that. And they'd be like, don't you realize that is the American way? Anyway, I still think Toy Cat is Big Pikmin. Big Pikmin is behind that idea, if you ask me. Okay, so I think we can get into a nice little grind of slowly but surely replacing the trees, then the ice, then the trees, then the ice over and over again. That should be where we can end up if we do this right. So, yeah, got another stack of these, which means we only need to do the trees a good, what, like, if we need 30-ish stacks, we do the trees 15 times and we're there. So while we do that, we can talk about our plans. Also, IBX Clicker, it's the Mini-Mod's birthday next week. I may need to book you to come up. Have they always wanted to see Poe in the flesh? Am I Poe right? Wait, Tinky Winky's purple, Dipsy's green. Yeah, Poe. Poe's my favorite one, actually. If you wanna know a secret, I feel like it can't be Poe. I like Tinky Winky, but in British English, the connotations are a bit too much to say you like Tinky Winky. You know, you say that and they'll send you to prison. You know, so Also, one of the other... so while we have a big plan to go 19,000 blocks away, that will get me a dripstone. That dripstone will turn this lava into more lava. I could just theoretically scoop up a bunch of lava, and I could theoretically, as Taylor Davis has pointed out, I could even just scoop up a dripstone if I use the right blocks. But I think that having another mountain would be cool. I think this is a fun project. I like the going away things. I like the ability to see stuff on the way. And more importantly, it gives me something to work towards. That is less mess-upable. But crucially, one of the fun things is I'm getting all this snow, right? It's turning into snowballs as they hit the ground. It's a very, very useful factor because as I get all of these snowballs, I can use them to work on my base. The thumbnail for this video... Also, IBX Clicker, if you want to see them live, see BB's Land at Alton Towers. I think I might end up at Alton Towers. I've had a friend who's turned into a bit of a Merlin head. Yeah, I'm the big believer of, like, you know what? I want to be, unless I actively disdain something, I want to be the person who is like, yeah, I understand how much of a struggle it is to go and get stuff done. So, you know, come up with a good time, make a plan, make it sound fun. I'm in. Let's do it. I'm not gonna continuously be like, ooh, that day is my I booked that out 8 weeks ago to have a 1 hour massage. I don't want to be like, you know, like, I feel like you get people on both ends of the spectrum. Then there's people who are like, yeah, I don't decide what I'm doing until this week, but this week all I want to do is, you know, hang out. So hang out in the way that sounds like the least effort when I leave my house. It's stressful. It's stressful being an adult, honestly. You are I have 8 of them. I'm an adult child. Aren't we all adult children? Wait, no. I mean, not actually. We're not all adult children. I guess it is just you then, Polly. Anyway, also, I'm getting so many snow blocks. It's wonderful. So yeah, we're gonna go in here. I'm gonna grab my big collection of shovels. Pick up a couple. I'm gonna go into here. That's my armor. I don't think I need to put any armor away. Although I'm guessing I do need to put some bows away. If I've got this one, I probably don't need this one. Gonna go ahead and say that. If I've got this pickaxe, I probably don't need this pickaxe. Etc, etc. And then I'm gonna deal with some of my other just like miscellaneous junk. I have a big chest of craftable ingredients that goes here. Actually, do the craftable ingredients go in here maybe instead? I guess they do. So I put the slabs in there. Put my tripwire hook in what I hope is a fishing chest that I have. Yep, got one of those, great. And then let's go see how much ice has regenerated in the time that I've been chopping down trees. Because again, we're going to need a lot of ice and a lot of that. In either case, we're going to make a big collection pathway, and we're going to get that thing done. So yeah, while I do this, I still, funnily enough, it's 200 days in, and I know I'm playing very modern Minecraft this way. I haven't finished my starter house chat, because I made the terrible mistake of making my starter house a mega base. But I did the clever thing, in my opinion, of making my base entirely livable while it's under construction. And it means that it can kind of change if I have any new needs. Like, if I needed to massively up my storage, I can make a storage wing. If I needed to, which I think is kind of cool and fun, because if you haven't built things, you can do that. But it's fun kind of seeing it come piece to piece together while still being my home surrounding it. So I am starting to appreciate the idea that, like, make the bare minimum house and then expand it into your mega house is what this igloo has really taught me. It's super fun. Your stream delay is like 1 minute, by the way, says Hurricane Dog. What it is my chat is, I can fix that actually very easily. But the reason that you think the stream delay is a minute is because some of my chat is covered by my stream thing here. Anyway, so I bought this outfit on that famous website Temu, and I really want to encourage anyone who dislikes things. Like, I think this is a really useful way to, like, understand the world better. When you really, really hate something, which is, I think, a valid reaction to what, you know, Temu has done to e-commerce in a lot of ways, I think it's really useful. I think it's, like, not even just useful. I think it's, like, healthy to spend some time, like, looking at the thing that you hate. You know, rather than just, like, imagining a version in your head to hate. Because that isn't actually very productive. Okay, there's no snow over there. That's kind of scary. It's not actually very productive to just hate things. I know, controversial opinion. But hating things for the sake of hating things isn't useful to anyone. It's useful for feeding the hate part of your brain. But is that a part of your brain that you want to feed to the detriment of, you know, knowledge? To the detriment of learning more things about the world? I certainly hope it is not. And so I like to make one Temu order like every 6 months or so. Honestly, every time I do, I'm like, man, this is a wild time. Because again, you might think that, like, well, the problem is that it's so cheap and therefore it must be slave labor and therefore blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, easy conclusion story. So say it's the same way I can't stand people who are like, oh, McDonald's is bad for you. That's why it's so cheap. Dumb. And it's like, no. You're the dumb for thinking that the thing that determines a food's healthiness or food's goodness for you is its price. The same people who are like, yes, drinking wine is basically good for you, which is why I make sure to drink a glass of wine a day. The fact that it feeds my alcoholic tendencies is just a wonderful coincidence. Wow, what a happy world that is that we live in. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna, like, now start to cover this, at least a little bit. Just make it at least 2 wide, at least. Just slowly but surely. So you don't see this column as much. I want to kind of cover up as much of this original stone as I can. So from the outside, when you look from over there, let's say, where I took the shot from this thumbnail, you see it to the best. Anyway, so McDonald's isn't cheap these days, though, says W Blocks. My controversial opinion is McDonald's is just as cheap as it's always been. I think you could throw your McDonald's prices into an inflation calculator. It's, I don't know, it's that your discretionary income... You know, your income has gone up, but not your discretionary income, which means that everything feels more expensive. But the thing that is actually most expensive is rent and taxes, right? Like, those are the two expenses that are actually ruining you. Or, you know, housing costs, I should say. You might have a mortgage, you might have... you might be lucky enough that you only pay in labor to where you live. That's a common arrangement, too. But, like, in whichever way you pay for your housing, it is costing you more. Even if you are fortunate enough that your housing comes from, you know, the local government, then you are, you know, that is an additional cost that goes onto the, you know, taxes that you pay a very small percent of, but then, you know, like it's a problem, right? Housing and government, they are two very expensive things. And so as a result, even though your income has gone up more than the price of McDonald's, you feel like it is less expensive. But like that honestly makes McDonald's is, I think, if you cherry pick your time frames, it's gone up in price. But if you pick like the first time you ate McDonald's to now, I guarantee it's probably gone down in price. And even crazier is it's gone up in no, I wouldn't say quality objectively, but subjective quality. They make your meal to order now. So now at McDonald's for basically the same price as you paid in the 80s, you can get a burger that's custom made for you. You can say, I wouldn't like any pickles. Ooh, actually, could you have mustard instead of mayo? And they'll just do it. They'll just make the burger how you want for the same price, which is kind of mind-blowing that they can do that. So yeah, McDonald's isn't cheap relative to other options of food, but it's cheap relative to McDonald's. And it's cheap relative to other eating out options. You know, which is the interesting thing about eating out, is that, like, there's an inherent cost in it that, like, if everyone thought about it every time they ate out, people would eat out far less. And so instead we kind of, like, have to hide it a little bit. Anyway, so do you think the video game prices, not just game prices, but also microtransactions, are better value now with inflation? Although we've seen some price increases, but not as much as other things. I actually thought, this is one of my, like, my biggest, I think one of the most interesting cases where we are wholly irrational. Video games don't feel cheaper. You know, in my live chat, video games have gone from being £40 brand new to now about £60 brand new. In the US, I believe that's $60 to $80. And inflation has been far higher than 33% at that time. In some places, you can still get a game for the same price it would cost you when I was 8. Which is incredible. But weirdly, I think that... okay, this is fun. I think what's interesting is... And what proves that there's, like, a lot of complexity to the world of how prices are and how we perceive prices. Something that really adds to the complexity of this is the fact that video games have gotten slightly cheaper with inflation. But actually, in terms of video games per hour play, the price has gone from, like, positive by quite a bit. You know, I pay $60, £40 for Super Mario Sunshine. Now I would have to pay more than that. But actually, for the video games that most people play, the price is now effectively negative. Or effectively zero. Free-to-play games are the norm. And you expect that the time played in a game, the entertainment, is the game's... That is the game's offer to you. The game pays you in entertainment, and then expects you, you know, expects a significant enough percent of people to drop it a few dollars here or there. Some people are big spenders. I think the video game industry term is whales. Very, very, very mean term, if you ask me. But it's like some people spend a lot more now, and then that balances the whole equation. But the price per hour of video game has gone down massively. It's just that there's so many more hours of video game out there that it kind of works anyway. I don't think there's any use to sitting around here, so let's mine some more ice. Let's make the ice boat, actually. Let's make a boat. Should I make an oak boat? Let's make all the boats fun, actually. I'll make my ice boat made from white wood. I think I already have a white wood boat out there, actually, don't I? Do I? Let's give it a look. Can you see it, chat? I don't have a white boat. Let's make ourselves a white boat. So I've got pale oak wood. That's 2. Let's take another 1 from here. Let's make a beautiful white boat to store all of my ice in. Because realistically, yeah, I'm going to have to send it some real places. So, pale oak boat. And then we'll take some spruce planks, make a chest. Pale oak boat with chest. And now we've got a place to store all of that stuff. And we'll put this single plank back in there as if that's going to help me. And I'll also take out my snow blocks from here because I'm trying to get this house together. It's a slow but important process. Like the people who buy Fortnite Battle Pass every season. Yeah, some people look at that and say they're silly, right? Some people look at that and say, bro, don't you know you can just not pay for it? But I don't know, I kind of see it as the way that streaming works, if I make the comparison here, right? The entire concept of these streams, the entire way that they work fundamentally is that streaming is more lucrative for many creators than videos are, but that is because of the fact that a certain percent of people, you know, everyone gets it for free, and a certain percent of people, you hope, you try your best to entice, you do whatever it, the certain of people will give, you know, like more than the 0.1 or in some cases full penny that you get when someone watches an ad. On a video, 1,000 people watch it, you get paid $10. Everyone's effectively giving you a cent that way. On a stream, 1,000 people watch it and one person gives you $10, you've made the same money. If one person gives you $20, that's happened to me the last couple streams. Now I've made double as much money as having 1,000 views, right? If 2 people give you $20, then you know you start to. It's the same sort of thing with the monetization that way. I think that I think you could arguably see it as the most egalitarian thing to happen to entertainment. Entertainment costs have become funded by, if not the wealthy, because that's not the correct way to think about it, because I doubt it is, you know, like top 0.1% households or anything. But now entertainment is funded by those who like it the most, which does have negative downsides. Do you have to say negative downsides, or is a downside already presumed to be negative? Anyway, but there are downsides to this, of course. But yeah, it exists. So we're going to place our second block over there so we can put this down. And then we're going to crouch. I'm going to make sure there's no mobs around me. And I'm going to put all my ice in this boat. If this boat falls off, actually, I think I'd be pretty ruined. So I shouldn't put it so precariously close to the edge. I don't know what I'm thinking when I'm doing that. So let's be more careful with my stuff, huh? Okay, let's put a block down below it, maybe. There we go. Just anything to make me feel like I won't lose all this progress all of a sudden. That would be good. There we go. That should do. That should make me feel better. And now we'll fill the rest of this ice in there. And once this is filled, that'll get me an extra 2,000 blocks of distance gone. Which isn't actually ultimately that many, but it's fast traversal time, so I like it. And we're good. For one video game company, it is indeed funded by the wealthy now. EA being bought by Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that is fascinating. I'm glad you bring that up, Canby. I think that is a hugely interesting development. I think it's like the national and international issues like coming to play at the same time again, right? You know, I was you know, just one of my like casual wiki moments that I went into. I like diving into the past, I guess. One of the things I found out today, because you know I like to. I think history is really useful. It's amazing to understand how things really work. I think that truly, like, if you think things are worse now than they've ever been, it's like a good sign you don't understand how things have ever been. But it's like, well, like, how could you? Like, it's not the understanding the past is not the default position. Not everyone is always. I'm gonna keep the snow going just so I have some more snow to pick up, honestly. So I'm gonna try and destroy some tree while we do this. But yeah, now we have this fun world where like a nation, right? the Saudi Arabian investment fund, is buying out a video game company, and they've worked out that that is a strategic investment. Now, on the surface, it could be like, yes, video game companies make money and blah, 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 blah. Also, I was going to try and keep the snow going, but there's not much I can really do for that. My trees aren't going to grow in the dark, and so what am I going to do? Okay. Roblox, your left arm, and $5. See, I also, Toy Cat, how much do you think GTA will cost? GTA 6 will cost? I think they have to be really tactical, right? So again, I'm going to talk about this not from a consumer perspective. I'm going to talk about it from their perspective, right? You are Rockstar North. You are tasked with working out what you should price Grand Theft Auto 6 at. Again, let's think about it not from what you as a consumer want. Let's think about what they as a business could do. So option one is to say, this is going to be one of the most expensive video games ever developed in history. Therefore, it's only reasonable we charge more for this. This is how things work in, like, every other industry. If you buy, I don't know, if you buy a brand new category of product that is a lot of research and development put into it, you expect to pay that back. This is how healthcare costs, even in countries where your government pays for it. The NHS will pay like $100K a pill for rare diseases. You know, this is a thing because a lot of that $100K a pill goes to basically recouping the cost of developing these drugs. So that's how drugs work. That's how, I don't know, like consumer products work. If you want to buy a fancy new razor or vacuum or tampon or anything, you know, like it's gonna, the fancy new development and the packaging and the marketing makes you go, yeah, that's worth more because it's new and it's better. But video games and software are interesting because when they make the most expensive movie ever, it's not cheaper to go, it's not more expensive to go and watch it. Which is very, very interesting because Avengers Endgame could have said double ticket prices, but they did not. They arguably squeezed a little bit more money out of the cinemas, the theaters. If you don't know, Disney tries to take a higher cut of the movie than everyone else before them, and like, what are you gonna do? It's Disney. You're gonna not play Disney movies? But like, still, it's interesting that they don't. So when you've got the most expensive video game ever, also hi lesbians, good to see you, pal. How are you doing today? When you've got entertainment, it's a different formula because if you price it too high, a lot of people will just go to your competitor instead, and instead you expect to make your money back when you spend a bunch on entertainment with more sales. But if you are GTA 6, you might be able to get away with saying, yes, we believe that this game is worth $100 and it will last you for enough years that it will pay off. And enough people will buy it. And so, otherwise you might say, no. Okay, we're going to price this the same 60, 70, 80, whatever the standard is, number of dollars as everyone else. Easy peasy, lock it in that way. But your accounting department, or, you know, at least, you know, you personally, someone's going to be like, you're selling the most expensive game ever for the same price as everyone else. You know that they might have paid, you know, $100 for it, and you only charge them $80. You know that's $20 times 10 million copies you just left on the table. You just left $200 million up for grabs. You know, maybe some people wouldn't have bought it, but most people will pay whatever GTA 6 costs. And so in that case, isn't it absurd on some level to charge anything less than the maximum the market will bear? So yeah, the truth is that... Also, this is slightly misaligned, right? Yeah, I think it is. Terrible. Can't do anything about that. But what I will do is I'll just put all the blocks except for there. So now there's an inside of the igloo, and there's an outside of the igloo. How beautifully achieved. So looking at the outside of the igloo, you can see this front bit of the igloo is actually like 2 blocks deep. And my thing is only 1 block deep so far. So what I need to do is I need to go and extend this part of the igloo to go 1 block further out. Also, it's 2 blocks wide, and I've done mine 1 block. Wait, let's go look at that igloo again. Let's make sure I'm not crazy for this. Yeah, the igloo is meant to be like 3 blocks wide at the front, whereas mine is 1 blocks, and then it's 3 blocks. There's a little extra poke in my igloo for no good reason. And then after the 3 blocks, it's 2 blocks in, but mine only goes 1 block in. Man, I made some mistakes with this igloo, huh? I was wondering why it was looking so different. So mine goes 1 in, and then it should go 2 out here, but it only goes 1 out here. So we could actually solve this entire thing by just moving the opening forward an extra block. Yeah, if we just put an extra bunch of blocks forwards through there, and then over here, like make an extra ring going that way, we can free up a bunch of extra space, and that might be kind of cool. Personally, I wouldn't buy any game that costs $80 or more at launch. I think I'd wait for a sale, and if I'm already waiting, I'll wait for it to be cheaper than $60. I'm probably waiting for $40. Yeah, I think things like Game Pass have weirdly lowered people's price perception even more. Which is just fascinating if you ask me. That again, in most products, I think, you know, like prices go up and you say I'll still buy it. With video games, you say unless prices are actively going down now, or even just if prices stay the same, I'm going to buy less. Minecraft is famously a game that does not charge the full price that a game is allowed to charge. Isn't that interesting? So looking at the igloo again. Yeah, this whole thing is a big mistake, huh? I've got to have a whole back section of the igloo after this area here. Otherwise, the igloo is going to be too tiny. And then I'm going to mess up with the roof. But what are you going to do, I guess? The answer is not think about it. Yeah, I don't need any extra width for the igloo. Because if it's 7 blocks wide, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Never mind, we're bone chat. Igloo's ruined. We're in a nightmare. No idea how we're going to deal with it. Also, Toycat, what are your problems on NVIDIA claiming 4090 performance on the 5070 when the 5070 performance is mostly just AI DLSS and will get nowhere near raw 4090 performance? I have not heard anything about that. I used to be really into graphics cards, but I'm just not excited by them anymore. So genuinely, I'm sorry to say it, but my opinion is that's cool. I hope they get in trouble for that if they're not meant to do that. And I hope that they don't get in trouble if they are allowed to do that. I think NVIDIA is interesting because as the biggest company on the planet right now, basically everyone owns a little piece of NVIDIA. And so we're all going to be a little bit boned when that bubble starts to explode, huh? But, you know, it's... you won't be boned if you spend all your money on V-Bucks now. Let me tell you. So you're not going to 11,000, 8,000 today, says Dasher. Yeah, I feel like we could make it there today. No, I feel like we wouldn't make it there today. I feel like we need to be fully prepared for what is... Because the last journey was, like, close to 2 hours, right? And that was 5,000 blocks. So we're going to be going 3 times as long. I think it's going to be a long journey. I think it's going to be a 6-hour journey. It's going to be crazy. AI is a big market for GPUs now instead of gaming. Yeah, it's funny how that works. It is very funny how that works. A piece of hardware that was basically invented for gaming, the 3D graphics accelerator or whatever, has become a tool that has enabled Bitcoin mining and AI. But yeah, you can get a Minecraft account for like $4 American. But you probably shouldn't, right? I mean, this is the interesting thing about the grey market. So the grey market, sites like G2A or CD Keys, maybe not CD Keys. I don't know what they do actually. But there's lots of sites like you might. Okay, so Games Pass Ultimate just went up in price, right? You can still buy Games Pass Ultimate for the old price, or actually, in my case, cheaper than the old price. I've been paying £16 a month for years for Games Pass, and Microsoft just announced it'd be going up to $30 or £23. And so I cancelled my subscription because I thought it was already a bit too high at 23. But it just so happens that as I cancelled my subscription, there was a game I really got into on Games Pass. People who follow my Discord apparently know exactly what it is. You got to notify in advance for a 6-hour stream, please, I beg you. Yeah, exactly, Dasher. I'm gonna make it very clear what the SkyGloo plans are. And it's gonna be we're gonna make sure. I feel like a weekly series might be a good fit, but we'll see what we end up with. Anyway, CD Keys is incredible. You can get cheaper mine coins there. Oh, I didn't even think about... So I'm about to make a video, KMB, about don't buy mine coins on the iPhone, basically. Is the clickbaity, you know, like attention-grabbing, most important thought. But it's really interesting. The cheapest platform to buy mine coins on is not the one that anyone expects. It is not the one that you would reasonably assume. And so I think it'd be interesting. But I didn't even think about the fact that, yeah, actually it'll be even cheaper to buy them on a grey market website. So yeah, it's kind of like, I would say that the G2A and the CD keys of the world are kind of like the Temu of the video game world, which, you know, which is to say, like, you know, there's a bit of an ethical argument against using them. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I buy as many Teletubby costumes as the next fella on questionable Chinese retailers for literally £6, by the way. But, yeah, I think that really the weird thing about video game pricing is we're all talking about prices in dollars, right? Pout is like, if games are $80, I'll wait till they're $60. But, you know, I don't doubt that Pout might be someone who lives in the USA. I don't doubt that KMB is someone who lives in dollar land. But most people do not. That might surprise you to learn. And so, because the dollar is... Not only is the dollar stronger, but, like, also Americans have more spending power than most of their international counterparts. It means that it's very, very tricky to charge American prices outside of America. And so, especially when you get to countries like South Africa, for example, no offense to any South African homies out there, but South Africa has a lot lower per capita incomes. And so, something that would cost $80 in America costs $16 in South Africa, or $20 or $25, or whatever they can get away with. And so what's interesting is they usually region lock these quite well, but using some weird methodology, or in some cases using questionable credit cards and refund processes, it can be quite easy to get digital products that should cost $80 in the US for $50 or $60. And most of that money still goes to the manufacturer of those products. In other words, there are places you can go to give yourselves forcible discounts on things. And isn't that kind of fun? You know, like, you know, unless you simp for, you know, unless you really want to give your some extra money. If you want to tip Microsoft, you could argue that's the big reason not to use it. But, you know, there's a big argument that, like, why would anyone pay more for goods and services than they need to? You know, if I could buy this for £6, by the way, I want to talk about this. Temu is the most psychological, like, the bad thing about Temu, because everyone's so focused on saying, like, oh yeah, they probably use Chinese laborers from the Uyghur region, and so it's basically genocide you're committing there to, like, you know, if people who want to have a moral argument, they miss the real argument. I think I mentioned before, I had a cousin who just from across the room said, oh, Andrew, you're using Temu. Haven't you heard, or Temu, haven't you heard what they're doing to all those poor Muslim women or something like that? And I thought it was interesting because actually, in my opinion, the bad thing about Temu is the manipulative consumer process. It's genuinely designed to turn... Because shopping, this is one of the most interesting things. Shopping is basically shopping can be made as addicting as gambling. You know, it's in culture we portray this as like a woman thing, right? Like, oh yeah, my wife just needs some retail therapy to make her okay. You know, women, am I right? So crazy. But actually, most humans feel good when you spend money. It's weird because it also hurts to spend money, but it's like spicy food, you know? There's a lot of things that hurt that are good because you know you're doing something useful. So yeah, it's okay. So where'd my other boat go, by the way? No, chat! Why? How even did that happen? Ah, okay, so that's a reminder to make sure that there is absolutely no way. I'm gonna make a little boat depot over here, where I can store the boats, turn them around and stuff like that. Which actually I should just make even wider than this. Let's just make a big old boat depot. I don't think I can get that back. I think I just ruined a whole bunch of stuff like that. Can't believe Toy Cat would insult me like that, assuming I'm American. Google is forcibly changing my account location to the USA, presumably to enforce ID verification. I appealed. The appeal was rejected. Where is your account location right now? Dasher, that's where I want to know. Because you mostly watch from the Netherlands, where I believe you are located most of the year. but I wonder what your account would say were you to ask it. But yeah, chat, that's an absolute nightmare. That's true. I bought some secondhand books today. Good times. Oh, you know, secondhand. So every form of media has a version of this, right? Where you can like get the discount if you just want it bad enough. Oh, that's probably what happened. It's so easy to nudge off. A single mob would have just knocked that right off there. Chat, I think I just lost like several hours or days worth of work. And I don't know how I would conceivably get it back. Fishing rod? I don't think you can fishing rod a boat without breaking it, right? Oh no, you can. This came up in my fishing tutorial. I spent enough time just playing around. Also, look at that ice. It goes missing behind the clouds. Okay, chat. I don't know if we can do it with chest boats. But I've got to believe in myself. Hey! Perfect on the first go. That was beautiful. I've never... Okay. Wow. I am good at Minecraft. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, chat. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yeah, so absolutely incredible. Amazed. So now we'll just put my my logs back in here, making sure that it's nice and safe in my boat depot. And then we're good. That was so perfect. It was... Those are the moments, right? Those are the moments that make life worth living. You know, you have a moment where you're like, whoa, you know, I am good at things. Something you predict something to be way tricky in your head. You're like, this is impossible. Just doing my best. You keep your expectations tiny, and then not only are you not whiny when things go bad, but when things go well, life is incredible. You gotta make that short. I am eternally willing to play around with luck because it is fun. It feels good, and it is good. Lizard Wizard says amazing. Thank you, Lizard Wizard, for your vote of confidence. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with these different colored walls, by the way. I have a plan, or I had a plan, I assume. No idea what it is right now, but it's good to be collecting some wool colors, I guess. Those will come in handy eventually, I hope. Okay, so back to the tree chopping. Hopefully the trees have regrown, and hopefully we don't lose them again. Just got hit. What did you do, says Caleb Star. I dressed as a Teletubby, and then I spoke about consumer capitalism and how prices work for a good 40 minutes. And everyone was really impressed with that. They were like, wow, Toy Cat. I never realized that someone could address a topic so dull in such a uninspiring way. But to you, I say thank you. You should be able to scale Walmart parking lot for your boats. Yeah, actually, if I make like little tracks, I could like park the boat effectively quite well. That'd be good, you know. We can actually do the maths, right? There's a lot of American states have what is it called, like a parking ratio. You have to take your floor space of your store, divide it by a certain amount, and then you make it the parking amount. Honestly, can I say, as someone who now drives a car, and today I drove my car to a car park, and the car park had no spaces, chat. And instinctually, I was frustrated, right? And instinctually, I had this feeling of like, well, there should just be more parking spaces. But actually, I've got to say, something that I'm like really aware of is that actually, I think the world works. I think the world is a bit of a better place. I might even go so far as to say. Also, yeah, these are going to be free height. I think this igloo down here, I don't know if I deliberately made it one amount too small, but it's going to be really, really messy. So I'm gonna hold off on the igloo build until I can solve that biggest problem. In the meantime, I'll only finish up like existing lines that probably need it. Like right here, we could do with some more snow. Although the more snow I put in here, the more we can't see my base. So I might have to consider like making a little window up there out of glass. In fact, light blue glass would be pretty cool, right? I can make light blue glass. I've got glass. No, I don't. I don't have any glass, chat. Where do I get glass from? I could use ice. I guess ice is the closest thing we have to glass, and it is the thing that the igloo uses for its window anyway. So we'll have to use that. Do you ever go back and look at the Nev Fortress at spawn in your previous minimum brightness challenge? Oh, no, I didn't, Victory Shout NZ. I didn't go back and look at it. I think it'd be fun to do that. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do that. I'd be very curious about how that works. But yeah, so you know, I'm not going to talk about parking. I think it's the most boring subject in the world. But I realized, like, you know what? Actually, if a business doesn't have parking, that feels like it's the business's problem. You know, it feels like your problem because you get frustrated and you're like, I just want to park so I can go inside of the place. But it's also like, well, you know, now I won't go over here. Now I'll go and do something else. If you're curious, the thing I tried to go to this morning and I tried to park and I couldn't was a run. So, you know, I couldn't give that run my business. Yeah, good luck getting my £0, 0 pence. I actually parked around the corner, showed up to the run late, but I got to, let me tell you how fast I ran it today, chat. I've been getting into 5Ks, which is funny that in the UK we use miles, except when it comes to measuring races, unless they are marathons. You know, very, very goofy system. I want to see. Let's see how well I did at my little park run, chat. The answer is pretty good. No, the answer's terrible. 37 minutes. That's what happens when you show up more than 5 minutes late. Parking is the devil. It kills social interactions. Yeah, therefore, easiest solution, don't park. Don't park. Just don't park the car. Just leave the car wherever you want to have it, and then hope that it's still there when you get back. Anyway, you mean parking minimums? Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, I want to talk about shopping, because shopping is genuinely, this is a wild thing, but in the same way that video games have worked out, and social media is the same. I saw a post from Microsoft where they said, look, the reason we're putting Halo on the PlayStation 5, fun fact if you haven't heard that, they're putting Halo on the PlayStation 5, and their logic is because their competitors aren't Nintendo and Sony in their minds. Their competitor is TikTok and Netflix. They think that they are competing for your attention with non-gaming mediums. You know, with YouTube, arguably. You're watching YouTube right now rather than playing Halo. I mean, you probably wouldn't have been playing Halo were it not for this stream, statistically speaking. But some number of you might have been, and now it's lost as a result. But I thought... Oh, my controller's dead. This never happens, chat. I swear. This just never happens to me. Anyway, but, yeah, I also Sky Cheese bread glue. My microwave broke, so I'm forced to reheat my pizza by flipping it in the pan like a sandwich melt. Oh, that's actually the way better way to reheat pizza. It took me a while to believe that, because I like microwaving. You put something in, you forget about it, you come back. But, I think I've been convinced that actually it is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what I was planning with this igloo, but I definitely got it wrong. I definitely got it very wrong. So it's like 1 block wide. I guess I was doing the inside. That's what my plan is here. It's 1 block wide, then it's 1 block wider, then it goes out some, and then it goes 2 blocks high. Yeah, actually, I think I had some real logic. I still need to make the entryway wider for my igloo, but then everything else can stay how it is, and it will all work perfectly. Oh, thank God. I sent you a pigeon photo on your Instagram, knowing you're the pigeon whisperer. I have whispered to more than my fair share of pigeons. Yeah, very, very, very silly little thing, I've got to say. It tastes better in a pan, but the microwave is so fast and convenient. Yeah, that's, I think that's the real truth. Like, it's really common. Maybe this is like a me thing to learn. You know, actually, maybe and Sony, I'm not gonna put this all on me. I'm gonna put it on us. Maybe it's an us thing. That no. I'm alive, but I really should not be doing that. That isn't okay. I've survived 205 days, and I almost didn't survive a 206, chat. Woo. Okay. So I've got to remember, this is hardcore. I am very mortal. Not just to going below Y200, but also to falling off my house. And I should put some stair rails on or something. Yeah, that was the scariest fall of my life, chat. My life flashed before my eyes. If I'd have just fallen in a slightly different place, like you can see this here, would have just been over. Would have just been someone else we'd be talking about instead. We would never see the dripstone. We'd never go to the nether. We'd have put all that work in for lava, and it would mean nothing. Oh, also, I've got to be selling sticks every day. It's kind of tricky to do now that I need all this wood. But I should still... Oh, I should still be selling some boats, right? I think I have to sell spruce boats to this guy. He doesn't take any boats. He just wants spruce. Which is usually very convenient, but not today. So I'll just make a bunch of these. You know, just get a few sold in there every now and then. I think it'd be a good idea to get that done. I also... One of my, like, long-term ambitions is to get a mending villager. Like every world is better off having. But it's one of those just grindy tasks. We're going to have to sit there and just do it at some point. And I like putting off when some point is. Although I also like the idea of buying enough bookshelves from this man that I can find out, I guess. Gotta mow the lawn. Don't. Also, never bring up pizza or microwaves again. Yeah, that's a good idea, Adam Sonny. Let's not think about pizzas. That might be for the best. Okay, so looking at the inside here, yeah, there's gonna be a block there and a block there. I'm doing the inside of the igloo rather than the outside, which doesn't actually make sense now that I really think about it, but I'm sticking with it because it is easier and it makes some level of sense. I'm gonna see if because I am playing this with vibrant visuals, I'm gonna see if I can put up a little ice window over here. Actually, I'll go see where the ice igloo is from the inside. It might be the bottom block. Yeah, if it's the middle of the 3 blocks, the ice window actually needs to go right behind them there. So let's give that a little testing first. Give it just a little feel. Oh, please build some safety rails for the love of crap. Yeah, I can see why you would come to that conclusion. I'm gonna... It's definitely a wake-up moment to do things differently. And so I will take that wake-up moment. So yeah, I would argue... I'm going to put up some ice here anyway. I'm just going to put it up. I'm going to see if light can still get through it. And if it can, wonderful. And if it can't, that's totally fine. Hey, Diluted Dente! I'm honestly surprised it took you that long to fall off the stairs. You know what? I am not... As much as I might vibe like it with my my understanding of my tech issues and my absolute love for the website, or my absolute confusion of the website, Temu, I actually am not a grandmother, and so I do not fall downstairs very often. But yeah, that's scary. That could just be me dead. I definitely have like big design ambitions for this chat. Like, if I could get enough stone, and I'm sure I could, it's just about whether I go on the trip or not. I would love to get enough stone to make, like, a big pathway coming out of the house or something like that. Funding rails for those stairs, so SkyGloo doesn't... Just got a fun tip that just came in. Let's chop down this next tree, though, as we read it. This base is not OSHA compliant. Yeah, that is true. And in the real world, OSHA only exists because the real world is hardcore. Therefore, we should follow at least some amount of the OSHA rules here. Plume, by the way, good to see you. I love to see your name. VX Ghost, funding rails those stairs so that SkyGloo doesn't be an unfortunate route. Chat, together, we can do the fundraising required so that I don't have a tragic end like that. Because think about it, that same fool, if I just have half a heart fewer hanging around, dead. That same fool, terrible. Torch will melt the ice window or potentially drown the villagers. Oh, yeah, let's go fix that. Right now. Well, I'm at the top of the tree, so, like, not right now. But, like, very soon. Yeah, that's a big problem. You should do a stream? Oh, okay, I'll wait for it to come up. It'll do text-to-speech, which is fun. If you're curious, chat, when you tip on the streams, If you tip more than $5, it plays a different noise. If you tip $10 or its equivalent around the world, sadly, no South African specific pricing.
You should share a stream where viewers decide what tools or blocks you must discard with an appropriate donation.
It'll do text-to-speech. With ideas like that, thank you very much, said Six. Yeah, I was actually thinking, I want Minecraft, but viewers can mess with it in a way that is actually entertaining. I think the thing that might make it entertaining is, like, I have to keep playing until we beat Minecraft, but people can set me back as much as they like, right? That could be fun, because it could be like, yes, we are on hour 9. I cannot beat Minecraft still, because of this problem right here. I think that could be some fun to it. But yeah, it's something I am definitely thinking about. Nice to see you too. Haven't watched the stream in a long time. Hey, I'm glad that you picked this one. Because it's a bit of a more casual one, you know? It's one where you can put on your wonderful Teletubby onesie. Okay, I have to go and deal with that ice right now. So none of it has melted yet. So, oh, no, that is a lie. Let's go and find where the ice is coming from. Thankfully, there's water down here. Okay, so we're going to have to remove that torch. And then immediately put some back. So, are any of my villagers drowned to death, chat? Ooh. I feel like there was a guy there before who is not there anymore. Yeah, chat, I think Dasher wasn't being funny when she said that villagers would drown. I think that actually a couple of villagers might have drowned. Oh yeah, that's a big problem, isn't it? That's a big mess up. You build one window for your villagers, and 2 of them decide to die on the spot. Yeah, I think that is actually really bad. Casual, that's actually a horrible way to describe this stream. I'm sorry, this is a very serious stream. That I have long... Oh, my redstone is gone. Ugh. Chat, 2 villagers are dead, and my redstone has to be replaced. Could this get any worse? Yeah, there's meant to be a stonecutter man here who is not there any longer. But the good news about that, chat, is it's time for new villagers. We had not enough, and now we have plenty. Do I have enough wheat to be able to get this done? I'm actually going to breed some sheep first. I think we got a healthy number of sheep. But we can do it. Whoa, look at that, chat. Oh, it's the trees above the clouds. I should turn off clouds if they're going to be as buggy as they are. Chat, have you heard vibrant visual texture packs are coming to Bedrock? It's something very exciting. Hey, it's red sheep. Now I can breed the red sheep exclusively. You could be dead. I have the burning urge to tell you, I told you so. Rightfully so. Rightfully so, if you ask me. So this would be a good person to say sell hay bales to. I think buckets would be a bit too far. But I'm definitely going to buy spruce logs from him. Look at that. It's just free wood, chat. It's amazing. And then I'll put my cherry logs away. I've got a lot of cherry logs, apparently. And I got a whole bunch of spruce logs, too. Isn't that nice? Yeah, that's a real bummer. These guys are the perfect ones to breed, though. They already exist together. I don't think I want to give them wheat. I think I want to give them anything else. If I have it. Yeah, I don't think I do have it, though. And I don't have enough grass to actually make a ridiculous amount of wheat. So that might be a problem. It's your penance for not dying when you fell. Yeah, and I can see that. Minecraft is punishing me. You know, it's like Final Destination. The universe knows that some lives that should have been taken weren't. And so now it's making sure that the death toll is paid one way or another. And you know what? I think that's decent. I think I would much rather villagers be dead than me. You know, I am like a medieval king. I would rather thousands of peasants die before myself. And now we just put our seeds in there. We're gonna get a piece of bone meal from this. Isn't that nice? Oh no, it goes into the hopper. But that is also still kind of nice. Okay, plenty of wheat and no trees. I mean, I should just bone meal the trees so I can keep doing it continuously, right? Rather than having to run around like a madman. Let's just like make a stack of bone meal. Or in fact, let's use our freebie stack of bone meal. And let's just like do this. But in the daytime, because nighttime is scary. So we'll breed our villagers first, because that's like a long term. It takes them some time to do their stuff. Minecraft would be so silly if they didn't make the October 28th really market October 28th really heavily. Customizable shaders coming to Bedrock is a huge selling point. I think there's a funny thing. Maybe this is like loss of trust in general, but I really think that like if you see something being marketed, it almost like reduces your propensity to buy it instead of increasing it. Like when a big corporation is marketing something, especially amongst, you know, gamers and like certain demographics of the population, like you are told to do something, you are immediately skeptical of it. Whereas if someone you know tells you about something, you're way more excited. So cat to villagers, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Please light it up. What am I going to light up? Oh, certainly not this area, it looks like. So let's now come in at the top. And we'll just keep chopping down the trees and immediately replacing them so that we can get our pile built quickly. Also, Victory shouts that there's something addictive about the chaotic way that Toycat plays Minecraft. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, actually. I think a lot of YouTubers like to hone their craft to be, you know, like you instinctively feel like you've got to be the best at something, and so many YouTubers, I've seen so many, like borderline breakdowns on like, they think that the only way that people like them is because of their building skill. And so, when you make a build that's slightly lower than your standards, or even just worse than last week's build, or worse than someone else's build, it, like, breaks you. Hey! Diluted Dante! Make some more dirt blocks by growing a 4 sapling tree on moss. Then you can grow more wheat. Wait. Are you right about that? I don't think I have any moss, though, right? I'd have to buy moss from the Wandering Trader. Do I have moss? I'm pretty sure I don't. Oh, I can only get... Okay, so first of all, this could be my first copper helmet. It's not. Okay, I'm going to make sure there's no creepers around. Very scared about creepers. But yeah, now we can immediately place our saplings back down. And we'll grow it as soon as it's ready to grow. And just right into the next thing, too. And that way we can just get this done consistently, continuously. Oh. Hey, perfect. Do. Hey, victory shout! I'm glad you are that addicted to how chaotically I play Minecraft. Because 433 channel members. Love it. Thank you very much, chat. A surprising number of people now are like, yeah, I don't actually watch the live streams. I'm just in it for the members only Let's Play. It feels like old school YouTube, and I love that. And I want to say thank you to everyone. You know, even in those camps there. But yeah, thank you, Victory Shout, so much. I think as ad revenue falls, members become a higher and higher percentage of the channel. You know, I was thinking about something interesting. It was a thought that I had because of when we were talking about Mr. Moist Critical and how he said, I've earned $35 million from YouTube ads. I don't need to take your money from donations, so I'm just going to turn off the feature. One of the interesting, like, side conversations from that I've, like, genuinely had in my brain a bunch, but I want to share right here, because I think about it a lot. It's like, you know, memberships on a channel don't scale with ad revenue. Like, the memberships are basically the number of people who are, you know, like, committed viewers versus the number of people who are casual viewers. And so, if our, you know, like, if our viewership, like, tripled, The number, like, this is something you'll notice on streams that have 3 times as many views. You won't get 3 times as many, I don't know, regulars or nice comments or members or whatever else. And so, is there an argument that actually, you know, if you got 10 times as many viewers, should you turn off your memberships? Is there a number of viewers where you should have the thing where you're like, yeah, well now the membership program doesn't make any sense, and therefore it's for everyone? Or is there an amount of, like, does it have value outside of the support? Because a lot of people love tipping just to have their message read out. Sometimes they like, I was going to say dumb message, felt a bit rude, but actually some people love that their messages are dumb and that they get read out anyway. That if they could only have smart messages be read out, they wouldn't enjoy the system. Okay, chat, I'm gonna crouch down the staircase this time. I've learned about the perils. Yeah, I see the mistake that I made. I'm not gonna be making that one again. In fact, I'm gonna try to make that a harder mistake to make as well. But yeah, let's get in here. Break a bunch of blocks. Get this done. This is a nice comment. Thank you. There's a spider on you. Ah! Okay, there's no spider on me, chat. Turns out their username was a lie. It's okay, I didn't check. There could be a spider on me. By the way, chat, do you want to see how bad my, So again, I feel like big audience, I can't make this reveal to you. Small audience, or at least dedicated audience, I could say. Like smaller audience. SkyGloo was one of those series where I was like 1,000,000% sure everyone would find this as crazy as I do. But instead it's like, yeah, if you like Toy Cat live streams, it's a lot of people's favorite series, but only a small % of people watch it at all. You know, that you get me? Like, it's the people who do like it a lot, but not a lot of people like it. Oh, that sounds mean. But also, for some reason this time, the blocks didn't come back correctly. I think I should put some torches up on here, maybe. And then put some ice back down. Anyway, also, Toy Cat, have you heard what Linus Tech Tips says about memberships? How YouTube advertises memory videos to non-channel members and how he dislikes it? So, also, thank you, Pickled Witch. Read out my dumb message. See? Some people love it. Some people, that's all they want in life. More seriously, it's thank you, Pickled Witch. I appreciate it. And so, like, by turning off donations, you're removing people's ability to do that. Because you're not going to be able to read out every single chat message. And if you filter by only dumb chat messages, you know, there's an interesting way that actually, like, it's like fast passes. I am not wealthy enough to shut down a theme park myself, but I have on more than one occasion now bought a ride fast pass. Oh, I do not like the way that clouds and ice interact. And it's like, yeah, let me to the front of the line. It's messed up that anyone can go to the front of the line on some level, right? There's an argument against, you know, there's a fairness argument that says everyone should wait in line. You know, let's charge everyone the same price, you know, in other words. But also, even as someone who waits in that line most of the time, or even as someone who flies economy class, you know, most of the time, I like the existence of everything else. Also, wow, Dasher, good point. Darkness close to villages, where you remove the torch next to the ice window. You don't want all you guys dead, do you? Oh, I removed a torch and there's something missing from it. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. So let's get in there and let's make sure that there's no torches near my ice, but also no darkness near them. So I'll place my torch like here. I don't think it's real darkness, Dasher. I think it's Vibrant Visuals darkness. Like it's a shadow. Also, interestingly, you can see the sun does come through the ice. Is this a shadow from the sun through the ice? I think it is. No, I don't think it. I think it's coming from the roof there. I think the sun isn't coming through the ice window. At least not that I can tell. Which is interesting. Okay, glad we got it. I hate to be that guy, but I'm underwhelmed with Mountain Mayhem as it currently is. Yeah, I think it's going to be the smaller... I think every time we have our expectations set for drops quite high. I think outside of the Copper Age, They haven't really over-delivered. Perhaps the ice window is a treacherous idea. Yeah, honestly, it might be. It might be that this is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. If we made it out of blue ice, it would glow, because on Bedrock it does that. But the alternative is having a wall, so it's still better to have that, I think. Can't believe I've got some dead villagers now. Anyway, so yeah, I have to feed these guys more wheat because they haven't made a baby yet. Can you give them wheat, or are they just not? Oh, do you have to craft it for them? Okay, let's make it for them like this. Yeah, I think you can usually give them wheat and they'll craft it. Maybe that's a Java exclusive. But yeah, Markiplier definitely doesn't need money, and everyone knows that, but he still gets noticed all the time. It's not about money, it's about support and feeling good about yourself. But then isn't there an inherent, like, well, when you don't get tipped, you will feel bad about yourself? I think everything is, like, this is where I want to come back to with regards to, like, how gambling and shopping are actually, like, similar things and get marketed in surprisingly similar ways. I think there's some things that just feel good. They hit a part of your brain, and especially when big companies work out how to hit that big part of your brain, they can effectively make their business something that is as rewarding as, you know, smoking or drinking or gambling. Video games work this out by literally just taking every cue from gambling. Have you tried to buy mine coins recently? What is a mine coin worth? Oh, is it tricky to work out? Does that make it really hard to attach a real value to the currency, therefore making it more likely you'll keep that real currency sat there, therefore making it more likely that you won't spend those coins and that they belong to Microsoft? Wow, that's a fun little fact right there, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that I think the jumping place. Maybe the big streamers are doing more bad than good by turning off monetary options, making small streamers who rely on it look like bad people who don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I actually think that's why I think a lot of people, I would argue there's an argument about the reverse, right? That, like, by keeping tips open, they are, you know, if a Markiplier, I don't know if he's genuinely so wealthy that he doesn't need the donations, but let's, you know, whoever's a PewDiePie has donations turned on. Every donation that PewDiePie gets is arguably, you know, a donation that Markiplier or a tiny streamer with 8 subs can't get. Or me, you know, maybe if you watch both me and PewDiePie, you got a $5 budget for the month for tipping streamers, and you'd much rather have the Swedish man read it out. So you could argue that there's, like, a competition element to it. But then there's also the argument of, like, saying, like, yeah, this is only a thing that you do when you want to take people's money because you're a jerkbag. And so now do I take people's money because I'm a jerkbag? Oh, also, I think it's my guy who sells diamond axes who just died. I think that was an amazingly bad string of luck. But I think it did just happen that way. Do I have more diamond axes yet? I have one that is also basically dead. That is a struggle, chat. Am I going back down to iron axes? I hope not, but it looks like it. Wait, is it? No, it's you. It's you. Okay. I can buy another axe. I have to sell some of my wood to do so. But that's totally fine. 13 boats. Sell all of these. Sell some more. Good to go. And then that's exactly... Wow, what a perfect little coincidence that is. Now I've got a brand new smite axe, and I don't need to buy an iron one. And, yeah, I could even combine these last two together to get a smite 5 axe one day if I want to, which is nice. You're not sure that qualifies as luck. It's like a series of random events that has perfectly worked out. And that's nice. Anyway, each dollar for PewDiePie is a dollar taken from ToyCat. I think it probably works better with, like, streamers with more overlap. Chat, do you want me to find out right now who are the YouTubers that I have the most overlap with? Because YouTube tells you this, weirdly. So, in the meantime, let's look at some ice freezing, but from a safe distance. Okay, so... Honestly, it's annoying that there's no, like, leave... Okay, if I... What's the easiest way to, like, freeze Minecraft? Look at a different window without messing things up. Like this? Okay, look at... It's terrible. Look at my inventory. Tell me how to manage it. I'll tell you right now. I'm going to go right in here. Analytics. Audience. Channels your audience watches. So the largest one is Camman18. All 4 of these are Shorts YouTubers. It's all of them. The Dashpum, Prism, Urat, and then Minecraft. On 2, we've got Mogswamp, Ben Escherich. I've never heard of this person. Does he make... He makes videos for the unemployed. Your local below-average YouTuber. Oh, I guess my below-average video attracted his viewers. Not Rygar, Just Say Steven, Eclipsed VO, Kylo, Phoenix, Specular Bulls, Mumbo Jumbo. So I guess Mumbo Jumbo... I think Camman is a streamer, and I think Mumbo Jumbo is probably not a common streamer. But I'll use them both because they both have 10 million subscribers. So and they're also both very popular, like getting tens of millions of views a month. Ergo, presumably making some good money. Okay, so in theory, or let's just use the unemployed guy because I don't know him and therefore it's not offensive. Every time someone tips that unemployed guy money, because a statistically significant % of his audience watch me, and vice versa. Right now, the tip on this stream, I've just taken away your tipping ability for the below average unemployed YouTuber. I like the below average video. That means you have below average taste. Yeah, Polly E said earlier that if she sees something being marketed too much, she just assumes it's not very good. And I think there's like a name for this effect, but it's a very real phenomenon that like it is reasonable to assume that if someone is trying to get you to do something so bad that it is not very successful in its own right. So all good marketing makes it look like, yeah, this is just what it is. It's something I enjoy doing. I guess you could do that too. It's why influencer marketing is so successful. Which actually, okay, this is fascinating to me. A lot of I see a lot of like marketing types and marketing on my social media. The big change that I think everyone has noticed is that I knew this was happening, but I didn't have the words to describe it. Social media has gone from a marketing channel to a type of advertising. You advertise that influencers like your product on billboards or in Instagram ads or wherever else. And so you don't actually you don't pay for the top dollar names. You pay for, a guy with 800 subscribers that makes high quality content. Be like, wow, I love me some Disney or whatever else. I watched a Mogwon stream once. He read a few of my messages. I was surprised. Yeah, Mogwon's a great guy. We have a collab coming out fairly soon. Also then you have below average taste, Lamau, good one. I mean, it's factually accurate. Like you like below average stuff means you like below average stuff. It's a one-to-one thing right there. Also, don't understand unemployed. Is Toycat an unemployed YouTuber? I mean, that's what the YouTube analytics are telling me. People who like unemployed YouTubers like me. I do kind of I think that if I had a regular job, I would yearn all day to be unemployed. I have one of the few jobs where I feel like I get about 25 to 50% of the benefit of being unemployed. And I don't really want the rest. Like, I crave it sometimes. Like, today, chat, I was just like... I've been reading a decent philosophy book. I've been reading the Map Men book. And I'm still not all the way through the Silo books. And I've also wanted to read Game of Thrones for a while. I'm like... There's a lot of things I would love to read, but I feel like I don't have the time to do it. But as I recently, I've been recently going for like a reframing of like, do I not have enough time, or am I just using that as an excuse? Because when I go on holiday, I have an infinite amount of time. It's like it's all my time again, but also I still am not reading. I read a little bit a day, but not a lot. made me realize, like, rather than having to... Hey!
Toy cat is yes, PewDiePie is no.
Thank you, Vera, for choosing to give the $10 you could have given for the PewDiePie to me. I mean, it goes even deeper than that if you really, really think about it. The, any money that you spend on me is money you can't spend on Minecraft. And any money you spend on Minecraft is money you can't spend on me. Unless you spend it on Minecraft on me, which is a real category. Thought you turned this off, lol.
Thought you turned this off. Liar. Lol, as you know, I am simple and below average viewer.
Are we the below average club right here, chat? Is that what's happening here? Yeah, I get zero joy from Netflix and Disney. They are my wife and kid. Donations to Toy Cat make me happy. That's awesome, said Six. Tell me what makes you happy about them, and I'll tell you what, I'll try my best to make you even happier. Because who doesn't love that? Being unemployed sucks, though. Wish I could work. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Ruby Doo. I do think that unemployment is overhyped by people who are slightly overemployed. I mean, like, it's... Whether it's good or bad, I think a lot of people... whether it is good or bad, a lot of people do quite like the idea. I don't know. Like, I think the economic system we live in forces us to work a certain amount. For some people, that's, a starting point. It's not enough. A lot of people are really happy working 60, 70, 80 hours, if only for a short time. But definitely there are points in your life where that is an appropriate amount of time to work for some people. And some people are like, yeah, I work a 40-hour-a-week job, but I spend about 15 hours of those, looking at a computer screen and wanting to die and not actually achieving anything. I think that's one of the reasons the 4-day work week is such an enticing but struggling idea. Is because for some people it's like, oh, everyone else wants to slack. And for some people it's like, this is a representation of what I'm already doing, man. If anything, I might be more effective at work if I only had to show up for the number of hours I actually did productive things. Very echoey tip reading. Oh, I've got my speakers turned back on again. I need to consider that they can't be at a level where they... They can't be at a level where they will come back out of the microphone. We want to support the non-overly energetic fake YouTubers. Exactly. Your boy does not have a job faking his enthusiasm. You can be rest assured in that. Your philosophical views on life in Minecraft. You know, I'll try my best to deliver some of that. Because I've got this problem, right, chat? I really hate being told what to do. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love being unemployed. And, I hate being told what to do so much. There's, like, so many scenarios from my life that are like that. Any of you in chat the same? In fact, chat, do you have any situations where, could you tell me about a situation in your life where you didn't want to be told what to do? Could you do that right now? Of course. No, you couldn't. Sorry, that's my bit. That's my comedic energy for the stream. Hope you enjoy it. Toy Cat is better than a salted caramel frappe from Costa. Oh, a salted caramel frappe sounds good. I'm going to be on a road trip to the north tomorrow. Do you want to hear about my life, chat? I'm going to see my biological father. I want to have your advice. I'm visiting my... No, I can't say this out loud, chat. It's one of those, like, I will dox myself by saying this. So instead I'll say, I have a funny... I think there is this funny thing about family, in that it's like a bunch of people who you would, like, never willingly, like, choose, but yet that is what makes it interesting. Right? Like, so, like, kind of like how being unemployed feels like the dream, because every day you'd be fully in control of your schedule. One of the weirdest truths is that we all want to be in control, but a lot of us are unhappy if we actually are in control. A lot of us are happiest with the idea that we are in control, not with the actual doing it ourselves. Seriously, you're half my age and have insights on things I never thought about. Thank you, said6. I genuinely, I feel like I hope you believe I'm not just saying this. That's the sort of, like, saying that you like that sort of stuff is the type of comment that makes me think, like, you know, it's my favorite type of comment to receive. Also, can't be doing this, apparently. I've got to go fill up my boat. But I'm going to do so as carefully as I can. Don't want to mess this one up. Okay, so... yeah, I really like the kind of, you know, one of the things that always really stuck with me of early YouTube is the kind of, like, mildly philosophical dive. I think a lot of philosophy is very, like, dense and dull and, like, tricky to, you know, deal with, if I'm being honest. But there's so many ways in which it is important to think about and know about and consider. I don't like being told to like and subscribe. I do it if I want to, says a man chooses. Make sure to unsubscribe from the channel and dislike this video. There you go. Yeah, what are you gonna do about that, huh? What are you gonna do about it? Hate being told what to do, but I also don't have much internal motivation. Yeah, it's, you know, the reality is that a lot of cool things happen when someone tells you what to do. You know, not all the time, not all to be trusted or anything like that, but still useful. Philosophy light with Toycat. Yes, I may have that also. It's not just your Minecraft skills, of which I have many. As we all saw, I am a boat fishing master. I'm an absolute king of boat fishing. It has been proven. It has been tested, proven, tried again. But yeah, let's jump in. Let's mine a few more bits of ice. Just the easiest bits, I think, is always the best way in here. Mine some ice, run up out, and then we're going to finish up our spruce logs today. Which means I can afford to spend some of them, at least, on making boats to sell to your boy. I think I have some boats in one of these chests too. There they are. Let's take out the boats. And let's give them a little sell. Because now I can afford to get back to this, to get back to the emeralds. Because I'm going to need the stuff that comes from them soon. Chat, I don't have a baby villager. I'm very glad that I only lost 2 villagers and all. Maybe 3. But yeah. The sad truth is that many of us are happy letting others do the thinking. I don't think it's a sad truth, though, right? I think that's a very... I think it would be sadder if we all had... You know, this is a weird thing. This is like a triple layer, right? On the surface, it's sad that people don't think for themselves. And in lots of cases, it is genuinely like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you think just like a little bit about what you're doing and how you're doing it or anything like that? But, you know, that's the surface level. And then a little bit of a deeper level. It's like, you know, a lot of people are just... I'm going to use the ice. It'll be fine. On a bit of a deeper level, it's like, yeah, actually, a lot of decisions work really well when we synchronize them effectively. We can create things from nothing if we all believe in them together. And we all go and get it done. You thought the type of fishing you'd be best at would be catfishing. You know what? Let me reveal to you all right now, I am not in fact a Teletubby. I am in fact IBX Toycat, and I've been catfishing you this entire stream, and look how many tips I got from it. Yeah, no. But yeah, I think that genuinely, okay, so this is something I would say. If try planning a party. You know, do you hear that, chat? Is that Minecraft? Maybe it's my PC fan. I hear like some weird noises. Anyway, so I think like if you ever tried to like plan a party, or even just not even a party, plan a social outing where you invite someone like, here is a fun thing. Would you like to go to dinner and then to mini golfing with me? And you quickly realize like, oh man, this is a nightmare. Like, if you try to do distributed planning, I want to tell you, this is one of my like formative experiences, chat. I got a voucher to go and do, I think it was go-karting. It might have been paintballing maybe? Yeah, it was paintballing. It was one of those like, And I was like, man, everyone's going to want to do paintballing if I say it's free. Like, no one's going to say no to free paintballing. I've got a slam dunk right here. And so I messaged all of my friends. I had like an extended friend group. I, you know, like 4 or 5 people you're super close with. And then people who are close with those people. And, you know, it's like a big group that all hung out at college together. I just invite everyone in that group. And I was like, go-karting somewhere in June to July. What's everyone thinking? And just the response back is nothing. And I was like, but this is so, like, guys, this all you gotta do is at least respond saying I'm not, like, people don't even give their, like, feedback on, like, oh, yeah, I don't think I want to go paintballing, or, oh, can you pick a date because I'm away in Alicante in June, or, you know, no one gives you anything. This is like, I don't know, maybe this is like a me problem, maybe it's like an introvert problem, maybe, but like it was the first time I ever just tried to plan something where I was like, oh, I've got an awesome thing I could provide for some other people. I got this free paintballing voucher. You know, like I imagine paintballing is usually quite a bit. All we gotta do is get ourselves to this place. But actually, it's like, no, yeah, people don't want to have to look at that and think, okay, so what time am I free? How are we gonna... People want to be told, look, paintballing's happening on this day, this place, this is what we'll do after. They want you to think about it and for them just to go, yes, that would be fun, or, oh, no, it wouldn't be. And it's really fun sometimes if you know you've got someone that you can trust to make a good plan, because you can be like, I'll just go along with it. I don't have to think about anything besides having a good time. Sorry, the space in your walls is enough for me to sit comfortably. I'll move less. It sounds like you're back there, Dasher. I mean, I know we got a thing hunting for Russians right now, but I didn't realize it had gotten that bad. Yeah, but yeah, chat. I'm not a Teletubby. I'm someone who's very bad at planning events. But actually, that made me realize, like, yeah. So now, you hit people up, and even if you give a vague plan of like, meet at this time, burgers, cool video game pub, people are like, yeah, awesome. And there's also like a level of there's like decorum in how you invite people. Like, you know, the friends of friends would be better invited by me being like, hey, hey Vicky, could you invite, you know, Jordan, see if he's free on this day. Like just shooting it out to people, it's the wrong way to do it. And also, no, planning social events is like herding cats. It's not just you. Yeah, it really is. The first time you do it, you're like, whoa. People who do this for you make it look so easy because they're doing all the thinking. You know, arguably, right? Like this stream is me. Ah! What just happened? Does anyone understand? Also, this dog is really upset with, I assume, this llama. Okay, not gonna think about it much more. Just gonna make myself some boats. Because I now have the spare shopping capacity for them. Very lovely. Is he spitting at me still? Or is he spitting at the dog? What is happening here? Something that isn't good is all I can say. But yeah, I go-kart paintballing, real life Mario Kart. That's the double dash theme. It will be continually in my head forever. Oh, what did I just make? Nothing. I think the llama spat at the dog and hit you, but why did the llama spit at the dog? I've got a lot of questions, and I don't know that I'll receive all the answers that I actually want. But maybe that's something I should accept. So let's grab a few more ice blocks, especially like... Oh, compressed ice? Chat, did it change its name? Or is this a British English thing? So I'll go and grab a bunch of this ice, put it in the boats, and then go immediately and mine some more. And then in the morning, we'll set off the boats. Easy peasy. Organizing multiple people is hard. That's why event planners exist, I guess. Yeah, it's really hard. And so, yeah, like, I know in theory, planning a party is one of the, like, biggest... I know, like, it's like, oh yeah, how about instead of us all going somewhere where I have to travel, what if everyone just come to me, and then when they're done, they all leave and go home by themselves? You can eliminate travel time by hosting a party, but you lose that time of travel because you have to plan, you have to make sure that everything works, you have to accommodate, like, oh, this person doesn't like board games, so maybe can we play Cards Against Humanity instead? And you're like, that's a weird request. Yeah, I think planning around multiple people really quickly helps. Also, look how invisible water is, chat. But yeah, planning an event with multiple people will just quickly realize, like, oh yeah, people hate thinking, but almost I think I know there's a lot more depth of like, but also the way that humans interact is much more deep than that. You know, like I know like spending a lot of time with someone is a lot more deep than is a lot more tricky than having a conversation with someone. It's one of the points I made in my most recent members Let's Play about like, oh yeah, hanging out outside the house does not prepare you for living with someone inside the house, because of all the obligations you now share. You know, if you think about marriage, right? That's sharing the obligation of your entire well-being and everything else. And it's like, yeah, you can really balls that up. You just need a group chat for every event. Oh, but you don't even. You need... Everyone assumes if they haven't done it, like, oh yeah, but you just put a group chat. There's a bunch of group chats I'm in, and when I get invited to things, I say yes. There's a whole swath of the population who will only respond to a direct message. If you put something in a group chat, they're like, probably isn't for me. And it's like, so you put in the group chat, this is for everybody. And they're like, yeah, but they'll just assume that they should know that I'm not going if I haven't said anything. And I've got someone else who's like, they should know I'm going if I haven't said anything. There's so much that goes into organizing people. And yeah, it's like, I think it's because like, reasonably, I want to go out and do social things, but I don't want to stress and plan that. You know, it's nice it's nice to have someone that, you know, like I said, I got a Merlin head. If he puts in all the work into being like, we could go to Alton Towers on these days, it won't be very busy, it will be really good for that. It's like, yeah, then it's my obligation to say yes. Or at least no. Or at least I can't do then, but how does this time work? I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming too big though. With that said, there's no planning for a great party and no planned ending time. I do think, I personally think a good party has very little planning, but there needs to be a vague structure. Maybe this is something that varies for everyone, but it's like I think I have like an above average number of friends who are introverts. I try to be, you know, the most extroverted introvert that can, you know, bring as many cool things to the introvert. You know, like I like to be the introverted caveman that can bring back, you know, a nice juicy saber-toothed tiger for everyone to eat. Anyway, but yeah, I think I always plan like a little bit of parties. Like, okay, here is a silly game that we're gonna play. Then they're self-eliminating. Don't even talk about planning Christmas. Oh yeah, I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't. It is I think the handiest thing you can have if you like planning events is just like, yeah, this is a standing agreement that unless we cancel, every Thursday we're gonna go and do this. Unless we cancel, every Wednesday, let's just go. I think that's why like low stress, low energy, you can do it all the time. Energy, like let's just go to the pub once a week. Every Friday, go to the pub. Really easy. You can be there for an hour, or you can go there for the cautionary hour. Choose to stay for more. You know, like, I'm only going for one drink as a can-be code for going for 6. Or it can be, yeah, literally all I can do is this one drink. I've got to be going after that. It's really cool. So, yeah, I like planning. It's hard, but it's a skill I've built. You're not Charles Wallace. Can you be my events planner? Can you plan my life and my schedule? I think that there's lots of... I don't know, like, I'm gonna try and be, like, as good as I can with this. There's a lot of, like, when I first switched to having editors chat, I resisted the idea forever. I didn't really, you know, I think anyone who's a YouTuber or anyone who makes anything creative is like, I can't outsource part of that process because they're not going to be as good as me. But then I eventually did learn to outsource it, and I learned that like a lot of really cool decisions can be made by editors that aren't made by you. And so at first I made this decision, this call that like, yeah, I'll let all of the creative decisions be handled later, basically, which is a really hard thing to give up, but I made the call. But one of the things I've kind of like gone back on is being like, no, a lot of things you have to, oh, sad. A lot of things you have to do yourself. You just have to. It's just how it is. You know, someone else is either, you know, if they're not having as, there's a lot of ways we don't want to think, or that we will think differently to how someone else thinks. And yeah, if you value those thoughts, you'll like take back a bit of control in that. As a 30-plus-year-old person, I sometimes find myself touching the phone less and less. Sometimes I'll spend an hour on it total throughout the day. Oh, that's awesome! Tank Girl, you put a little colon / emoji. That's awesome. You've solved. You've created a solution to one of the biggest problems. I think phone addiction is a struggle for many. The idea that I can't turn off my phone, that I need to use it for 8 hours a day. If you're using it for an hour or less a day, that's like healthy. That's called you've done things right. A lot of people don't go to the pub anymore. A lot of pubs are crap now. I think that is true. I think there are both really nice pubs and then there's Weatherspoons. And it's when everything that isn't one of those two things kind of sucks. Which I would argue is some of the problem with the thinking. Like, if you want to go to a good pub, you've got to, like, know the good pubs. I've gone to... I think I have, like, 8 pubs within a 5-minute walk. And one of them's really nice. But it's like such a cool view. And it's so old and so beautiful. But it's like, last time I was in there was a couple visiting from Texas who loved my Buc-ee's shirt. I wear American gas station merch, and apparently that means Americans love me when they visit. But there's a pub that I really love, but it's a really bad pub to take people to, because it's busy. It's always 90 to 100% busy, and when it's 100% busy, it's like the parking problem. You get somewhere and you know, when I'm by myself, if I go to the pub and there's no one else, there's no seats, fine, I'll leave. If you're with people, you don't want to disappoint them and be like, we can't go here, sorry. Why? Because no space. There's no space at the pub? Yep, no space at the pub. Weird how that works, isn't it? So yeah, I think I shouldn't be using more of my bone meal on this, really, if I can avoid it. So let's hope that my trees have grown, and if not, I'll just use the little saplings. Also, I like planning parties, but like Polly E said, it often seems underappreciated. Oh yeah, everyone has, like, I think so at least. I think everyone has that moment where they're like, I put in so much work for this, and, you know, like, people who are there will treat it like they are doing you the favor by showing up. And it is, you know, you are both doing each other a favor. That's one of the tricky things about so much of the social contract is like, I am doing you a favor, and you are doing me a favor by letting me do you a favor, even sometimes. And it's really hard to... I mentioned one of my favorite examples of this, chat. It came up really recently. I had a friend who invited me to a concert, but they were like, but in exchange, I need, you know, like I need potentially a 3-hour ride home. And like, I can't drive. That'd be 6 hours round trip for me. I can't drive more than 4 hours in a day, and I hate driving at night. And so I'm not going to commit to a 6-hour drive at midnight for you. Sorry about that. And they're like, but I really only wanted to give these tickets to someone who would drive me home. They were like, yeah, so I'm doing you this favor, and now you need to do me a favor back. And I was like, but it's not, you haven't actually done me a favor. To you, this seems like a big favor. And that's one of the tricky things about life, is sometimes you feel like you do people a big favor, and to them, they feel like either you haven't done them a favor, or they feel like they've done you a favor by letting you, you know, like, it's really, really complicated, I guess. Humans are really, really complicated, actually. I guess we could say, to make that even clearer, that sometimes what seems like it is so easy is not. And when we have differences in expectations, that can lead to lots of problems. Like, Chat, you know, am I doing you a favor by streaming this right now? Or are you doing me the favor by watching? Like, it's really hard to define it as one or the other. Like, obviously, you know, if you weren't, like, obviously, without you here to watch, this stream wouldn't happen. If it had 0 viewers the entire time, I'm probably silly enough that I'd have kept it going. But like, I would probably do it less in the future. I had a video I had to stop making so I could make this. I had to blow my whole £6 Temu budget on a costume just for this video. I did a lot of things for this video that I probably wouldn't have done were people not here to enjoy it. And so you have done me the favor of watching the video so that I can continue to do this. But on the other hand, you know, am I not doing you a favor? You know, if Said6 says that he loves the philosophical takes, then like I'm doing something good for him. You know, whether I'm doing it, you know, like, and you get into a real mess of like, I think in a lot of cases they're not doing something nice for you. You're not doing something nice for the. You know, it's not one of you is in the debt of the other for what's happened. I think in a lot of situations it's like, you should do nice things for people. You should do nice things for people that you don't expect a reward for. And then you should also try to thank people even if you don't necessarily love... Also, beetroot seeds? No. Acacia saplings? Yes! Wow, that's a big one. That's a really, really big one. A potion of invisibility is silly, so we don't need it. Yellow horn coral blocks are interesting. But I'll buy all of the wood, and that's the only thing I'm sure that I'm locking in. Yeah, acacia saplings, chat. I can now officially grow acacia wood, which I will do right now. I'm gonna have to destroy some of this first. Let's do it anyway. Let's grow our first ever orange wood block. Won't that be beautiful? You need to drive more in the US to increase your driving tolerance. Oh yeah, I drive, like, okay, so people in chat, by the way, responding to that. Said6 says he drove 6 hours to Florida and 14 hours to visit Minnesota for family. It's not a big deal, but it is. That's a day of your life. That's a whole day. And I think if you drive in the least stressful way, so I'm assuming, you know, interstates or major routed highways, traffic controlled highways, I think, if we're using the most correct term we can. If you're driving in the least stressful way possible, it's chill.
Nice things for people to
Am I doing nice things for you, or did you do something nice for me? I am living a life where I can argue I get 25 to 50% of the benefit of being unemployed, but I am getting paid still, chat. I'm still making money, and is that not as a result you doing me? You know, you one of the biggest favors of all-time history right there. You know, but via both watching ads and people who tip and all this sort of stuff. You know, who is doing who the favor? And I think the real way to think about it is you've just got to say that you should try your best. Like, you know, I have a friend, chat, who they had a really, really long-term friend. You know, I'm gonna. This has come up in my life very recently. So I have a friend who I used to know. They're part of my college friend group. They didn't respond to my paintball invite 13 years ago. Don't hold it against them, but I should. So I need to get more bone meal, but okay, the tree's grown, thank God. Maybe I should just get more dirt that I dedicate for tree growing. Anyway, so I have a friend who didn't come to paintball 13 years ago, and I'm still mad about it. I rarely think about it, just a couple times a day. But so I've got this friend, and 10 years ago, he refused to be friends with me because of something I said that was actually...
Hey, Toy Cat. Hope you're well. Just wondering which of the Teletubbies are you, because I've been
You can't spot Poe at...
Face emoji,
wow.
Woman face
Terrible.
Emoji.
Also, woman face smiling emoji is hilarious. First of all, thank you very much, Sophie Hawkins, for doing a nice thing. Or, indeed, for getting your message read out. You know, you're welcome for allowing it for just the small price of £10. You know, we could flip it that way. But more seriously, that relates to the conversation we've just been having. If you just dropped in here, for anyone joining the stream right now, you're 210 days too late. give up and watch the video in the description instead. But for anyone who isn't joining right now, I am in fact Poe, and I have done this wonderful thing, partially because I figured that people would enjoy it, and I love that people did. I loved seeing immediately everyone being like, "Took out the Teletubby," but partially because I figured it would be fun, and it's cool to have that dual purpose. It's cool to have something that I enjoy doing be something that you enjoyed seeing. You know, like, and conversely, if you don't tip, I'll probably still keep making the video. You know, if you don't leave a nice comment, if you don't leave any comment, or if you don't even subscribe or do any other, you know, merch, you know, like, we have, IBX, we have lots of ways that you can support the channel. If you don't do any of those things, then, like, yeah, you're still being great by watching. I think the YouTube stats say I think there's about 1 million people who watch every month, like unique people. The views are obviously higher than that because people watch on average more than one video. But there's about 1 million people who watch the channel every month, and by you watching, you provide 1/1,000,000th of the ad revenue, and that ad revenue is a great amount by itself. Also, after 30+ driving in Canada, now driving in London, OMG, it's a nightmare. Why are the roads so small? Yeah, on my drive today, I had so many situations where I was like, there's a road that's just about wide enough for 2 big vehicles, but people are parked on both sides, and so it's just about wide enough. It's actually like just about wide enough for like 1 and a bit cars. And so I had to like either squeeze past or I had to get in a parking place. I had something that's never happened before, chat. So I was down a one-way road that had enough space for 1 car, and it was parked on both sides. And there was police behind me. And I panicked because the police had been there. I'd heard the sirens for like 20 seconds, only just saw them behind me. But I pulled off into like a parking space, like kind of tightly. And the police people thanked me. They were like, thank you. They gave me a little flash of the lights. Oh, a little honk, rather. And I was like, that's fun. What a nice... The flash would have been the opposite, actually. They were so nice. They were thanking me before I even moved. They kept flashing their lights at me to show me how appreciative they were of the gesture I was about to make. Yeah, I thought that was fun. It seems stressful, but it's like... It's... You do something enough with an instructor in the car, and then you do it enough without an instructor, and life is good. Okay, so my friend chat. I have a friend from a long time ago who refused to even respond. You know, just drop a simple "I can't do it" to my my paintballing invite. And this friend recently came back into my life. He asked if we could hang out. Actually, I asked him proactively if we could hang out. The last time that we spoke was we'd hung out a lot. Like, we were the only people from my school that went to my college, so we hung out a lot. We found the same friend group together, etc., etc. And I made a silly joke at the expense of a political figure that he disliked, and he said, "I think I kind of hate you now, Andrew. I think I kind of hate you." And after that, he genuinely didn't send a message for a decade or something. And so he's an interesting character, very interesting character, quite self-obsessed, I think, or like but not in a way where he doesn't like get it. I think is interesting. But after like a bunch of years, you know, I feel like. He's lost like a long-term friend, so he's like he's just lost the job. He's going for a lot of stuff all at the same time, and so my instinct is like, I should offer something like, let's hang out. You know, let's just do something simple, easy, low format. If you need a friend, I'm gonna go be that friend. But I think that it's important with something like that you've got to see it not as I am doing a big favor for a guy, but instead as like, oh yeah, I enjoy just, you know, low energy hanging out. It's because of the fact that organizing things is hard and getting people together is hard. Most hangouts are by definition high energy. If you're lucky enough to live 5 minutes from someone, you can just go to the pub together or whatever else. But even then, you're spending £7 on a drink. So there's a certain expectation of what you're gonna get in exchange for that, right? If you're not a Weatherspoons, at least. But so it's, you know, it's like, actually, I am going to offer someone what they probably need most in this moment. Selfishly, I'm going to offer them a version of what they probably need in a way that I would like to. Come on, give me some emeralds. And I think that there's an interesting, like, I think the best way to look at life is there are lots of things that you can do for people that are big favors. Like, appreciate people who appreciate you, do the best for people who appreciate you, and, you know, start to learn people who eventually are not appreciative, because there is a big difference in the world that you will find. But I think that that's, like, the simplest way you can work out, you know, who, you know, if my friend, just like with my paintball invites, either says no or says, like, oh yeah, I'll do this, you know, as a favor to you, then I'll roll my eyes and, you know, hopefully it'll be good for them anyway. But if it's not, then also head on the Combine Harvester on a single track country road. Oh yeah, country road, like, people hate London roads, but really, like, London roads are just country roads, but with more, at least the parked cars are movable and sometimes aren't there, so you can park in their space. Country roads are a nightmare. You have to, I've reversed for so long before, and I've had to have, like, cars in front of me reverse for so long. I've had really good luck in general, though. I've in the, like, 3 years I've had my license. 3 years? Yeah, 3 years now. Closer to, I think I'm about to hit 4. So in the 4 years I've had my license, I think I've had to reverse with people, like, twice, and people have reversed me, like, 20 times. It makes me feel like, you know, which makes me sound like I'm a bad driver, and maybe that is just true. But it's actually like, or at least I'd like you to believe it's actually, like, you know, the closest reversing spot for them is like 2 seconds back, and mine is like 20 seconds back. It's been really good. Also, good friend screen. I'm gonna offer to my friend that we can dress up as Teletubbies and throw microwaves off of railway bridges or something. It's gonna be a good activity we can do together. Does he hate you in particular, or hate everyone but himself? I mean, that is something we should all ask ourselves about those that we avoid. But yeah, more boat sales, more emeralds, more good. Okay, chat. I'm feeling pretty confident about my odds of filling up both ice boats. I think the one ice boat being full isn't enough by itself. But with the pathway I've already got and everything else, hopefully it will be. I feel very lucky to have a few friends that are brilliant low energy hangouts. Sadly, they live too far away. See, so you're not very lucky then. You're very unlucky. You got the friends and then you lost the ability to low energy hang out with them. That's like saying I'm really lucky that I've got new batteries for my remote. They're in Cambodia right now because of shipping delays. But I'm lucky that I technically own them. It's like, no, that doesn't help you at all. You're very unlucky, Holly Naraska. I am apologetic for the loss that you are effectively going through. Okay, so this chest is now full. That's a good feeling. And now we'll start to fill up another chest. Low energy hangout can be a voice chat maybe on the internet. We all live 5 minutes away from each other. It just isn't this. I think the reason for me, I'm a big I'm really good at single tasking, or at least I like most when I'm single tasking. I'm really good at accidentally multitasking and ruining my life because of it. But I really like single tasking. It's my go-to way to do most things. If I'm gonna read a book, I'm not gonna put on a podcast or music in the background. The book I'm reading though has like accompanying music they recommend and a Spotify playlist. Don't like that. Not for me. If I'm watching a TV show and it's one that I care about, I'm not on my phone at the same time, because then I'm not going to absorb the TV show or my phone as well. You know, like stimuli maxing has value for some people, I am sure. Not value for me. So I feel like low energy hangout should be like, yeah, let's both be here intermittently. Maybe sometimes you get on your phone, maybe sometimes I get on my phone, maybe sometimes I'm playing a game, maybe not. I know, I feel like it's tricky on the internet, because you are effectively absorbing a decent percent. I mean, I guess when someone's physically there, you're absorbing a percent of their time because there's no way out, you know, without them saying, I'm going to go now. And I guess it's much easier to go on a voice call than anything else. The average American drives about 12,000 miles a year. That's a zillion kilometers. Yeah, my car is 10 years old. It's driven 89,000 miles. And it's substantially more driven than most cars of its, like, year and type. So that'd be like, what, 8,900 miles a year? Yeah, that's pretty close. My car has driven as much as an American. Almost. But yeah, I'm gonna make more boats. The boats have to be made at some point. Well, why not right now? So I'm gonna go get some more spruce just on the off chance that I need some to go in my inventory, and then we'll be ready to go on this. I am on my phone to comment while the stream is on this TV screen. Yeah, that's a common use case actually. A lot of people who watch my streams say they do that, or use a laptop or something as a second screen. Man, I wish Discord VCs still worked for me. Stupid government. Oh, you can't Discord voice call? Wait, chat. One sec. I'm gonna do a voice call of Dasher right now. Let me just let me get this one. Actually, I was gonna like call a fake contact instead of Dasher, but I'm gonna actively I'm a voice call Dasher to see what happens. Do 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 do. Okay, it was meant to make the noises. That bit was meant to be much funnier than it was. Wow, what a great low energy hangout we're having here together. By the way, while you're here, would you like to go paintballing with me soon? Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank God that you're putting so much work into planning this. Although I would like to say I can't do June 17th because I'm busy doing damaging things to my country's infrastructure. My 2009 car hasn't hit 90k yet. Yeah, I feel like I told my cousin how many miles the car had. She's like, they still sell them at that amount? she was like, ah, so it's dying soon, huh? Sun Dasher collab, wow. Discord VCs are a pretty great way to play multiplayer Minecraft with someone. You take the problem there that I don't play multiplayer Minecraft. The closest thing I get, the arguable low energy hangout I have, chat, are these streams. They're kind of quite medium energy, if I'm being honest. Maybe I think some streams can be quite high energy. If I'm like trying to beat Minecraft, I can't tell you enough, chat, how stressed I am about like, yeah, I'm locked in. I've set up a challenge. I've told everyone the date and the idea, and I know if I fail too many of these challenges, no one has any reason to watch them anymore, because they don't, you know, if I don't take them seriously enough, even, then the whole concept falls apart. So I stress a lot during them. Also, buying a used car on 100k miles in America would be a miracle. Yeah, that's a funny. Okay, I think here's a piece of philosophy I've been mulling over. When something is an option, it is awesome. When something is an obligation, it sucks. And I think that driving, the fact that you got to say like, yeah, my family lived 12 hours away, so I spend a day of my life driving each way. How many days of your life have been gone to this? If you like spending those days driving and you stop and you see stuff, or even if you just like being in a driving seat with the music blaring, with the air on your thing and a giant 7-liter slushy next to you, if that's what you like, that's an awesome way to spend a day. I've spent a day, I spent 20 hours on a train from Chicago to New York once. I love that day. I would love to do something like it again. I'm looking into booking the Caledonian Sleeper and getting like an 11-hour overnight train to Scotland because the train is fun, even though it's a less efficient use of my time than getting on an hour-and-a-half flight. You made my Discord freak out. But yeah, I think that the moment something goes from being something you are choosing to do because you like it to something you have to do because it is demanded of you, things get substantially less fun. Oh, I don't have space for the snow block. Okay, let's sell as many boats as we can to your boy. Okay, that's as many boats as I can. Not very many, but it will do, I guess. And then let's chop down all of these. And then we probably should get some oak trees in there or something to buff up the amount of oak saplings we use for stuff. Oh, I kind of want to start using different blocks. It's just tricky because I lost my stonemason. Woo, Scotland. Yeah, I want to go on one of those beautiful trains that goes to like the real deep highlands. I think that'd be fun. Many Americans commute 1 hour to 2 hours each way to work. Yeah, and that is sad. I mean, like, I think there are real benefits of it to some people. Like, I love having a car because it means that if I wanted to, instead of taking an 11-hour train or an hour plane to Scotland, I could drive for 12 hours to get to the Highlands. And if I really want to stop at a bunch of places along the way, the train's not going to stop at Doncaster for me. Train's not going to stop and, you know, help me, you know, I don't know, like, pay my respects to some dead in my family. Or it's not going to allow me to go to a fancy farm shop or get me in a good place for dinner. You know, if I want to make all my decisions point to point, the car is great. But, you know, the car also isn't going to drive itself, sadly. Not for a while, legally speaking. So I have to be there behind the wheel. Can't be on my phone. Can't be watching Netflix. Can't be reading a book. I think you should be able to read books if you're on the motorway. What's even the point of modern safety standards if you can't? But in general, it is accepted that you cannot. And so, yeah, I think that I thought we were going to hear the Russian accent from the stream of Toy Cats. Yeah, that could have been the perfect 1000 IQ play of Dasher, like, and I will have my voice be heard. You know, she picks up and she's like, there's no issue of voice calls in Russia. I made that up, you idiot. By the way, insert propaganda here. You know, could have happened. Could have happened. It's a 5-hour drive from Edinburgh to Stoke. Yeah, that seems impossibly long to me. Like, it's a 4-hour train from here to Edinburgh, and here is a lot further away than Stoke-on-Trent. Which is, I'm guessing, Alton Towers is the drive you're referencing. Funny how you're talking about cars in a Minecraft stream. You know, funny guy, I'm glad that you find that good. I'm glad you like it. Ask me this, Toycat. Why do people in the UK drive on the opposite side of the road? This will blow your mind, Lego Show TV. But it's actually people in America who drive on the opposite side of the road. You know. Whoa, 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 what's that? You've been doing it the wrong way the whole time? Because you drive on the left because your dominant eye is on the right. You've got a way better eyesight to your right than to your left. If you have a gear stick, your gear stick is on your left. You have way better turning ability of your right hand than your left. You don't need to have fine motor function for your left hand. It's the same reason your guitar, you strum with the... How do you use a guitar? Do. Which hand is for strumming on a guitar? Which hand do you use to strum on a guitar? You use your dominant hand. Well, that goes against my argument. I guess we do drive on the wrong side of the road here, huh? Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you love it. Mojo says also I bought a 2012 Camry in 2013, 32k miles. 13 years later, it's great. I love that you still watch content. I watched your videos when I was 10 years old. I'm 18 now. Insane dedication. I mean, if not to do this know you thing this whole stream, but like, isn't the insane dedication on you? Aren't you the one who has the insane dedication for watching 8 years? Like, I have a above average dedication, maybe, but you're the one who has consistently come back to a YouTube. You know, where the internet is begging for your attention, you have given me a slice of it for 8 years, half of your life. By the way, you know, I guess my viewers were all 9-year-olds at some point. I mean, I guess actually every one of my viewers has been a 9-year-old at some point, unless they are below the age of 9. So that's a different point I'm making now. Yeah, but when we can start doing car jousting by driving on the right side of the road. Yeah, car jousting, you would have to drive on the left, right? You would, otherwise you... Which, by the way, car jousting sounds so cool. That definitely exists somewhere on the internet. I just drove to Brighton. It was nearly 6 hours. Not doing it again. And I love driving. Saw so many dead Bambi on the M11. Oh, the M11 is that's one I drive a lot. It's my least favorite. It's my least favorite motorway. It's got the coolest junction with the M25. See, look at this. We're talking about roads now. This is a sign the stream has truly died. Yeah, but okay, you know what? This is hyper specific UK driving law. The M25 is most people's least favorite motorway because you don't get to do a lot of driving. You get to do a lot of parking on it. If you Google UK's largest car park, it will come up with the M25. But the M25, as long as you're there at a not super busy time of day, pretty decent. You know, it's one of the few roads where it's like got enough lanes that things are moving most of the time. It's got enough speed cameras that traffic levels everyone's going about the same speed. What's really cool is the moment you finally get off it, you're like, oh, and now we're on the real motorway, not the fake one. We're on the one where you can pick your own speed. We're on the one where actually the lane discipline matters again. You got to start moving back to the left lane. It's like, ooh, this is the driving they teach you about in school. And you got to go through bad to get good sometimes. You gotta experience awful things before you appreciate good things. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed. I hate the motorway so much. Glad there isn't many in Scotland. Oh, motorway is the best driving you can do. You just drive fast in a straight line. Maybe that's why it's the worst. I really like scenic drives. I went to Cheddar Gorge recently. It was nice. Anyway, so chat, this stream has died. We started talking about driving. But driving's better if you have it as an option, not as an obligation. And lots of things in life are better as an option, not an obligation. But I would like for you to, despite that, choose to take the option of supporting this channel in some way. There are lots of ways. If you want to, you know what they are. And if you don't, then you've done me a favor just by watching. Just like how I've done you a favor by producing SkyGloo Season 3, which will be starting very soon. It's going to be a super long stream, presumably next weekend. Next Sunday is when I would guess we'll be doing that. We'll be streaming something else in the intervening time, I hope. But we've got a very, very, very big stream lined up, so look forward to it. That was a very cool junction. I went from M11 to M25. Yeah, they've got so many, you know, chat. No one can stop me. No one can tell you what you can and cannot do. And that includes, right here, right now. Well, I've got my setup ready for, okay, so we'll go to Google Maps. Let me show you why it's a fun junction, chat. Well, let me show you. So we go to Screeny Boy here. Okay. So this is my home. As you can see, I actually live by the M11 M25 junction in this deer sanctuary over here. But if you look at if you look at it, it's just such a, because it's the middle of nowhere. They could use the most land. Usually in the US, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you get those crazy clover leaves because there's so much land and so few people living there. So like if you look like here, there's gonna be some silly. That's actually not a silly junction. But if you look in I think it's the Katy freeway somewhere around Fort Worth. There's some crazy junctions because they've got so much land, or they're willing to bulldoze people's houses, build land if they live in the city. But in the UK, we usually try not to bulldoze too many people's houses. And so again, thankfully they didn't get to my deer sanctuary house here, but they did. They used the most ridiculously long layout where you actually get to drive super fast around the entire thing. And it looks like a mess, but it means every road connects to every other road here. This is the minimum number of roads to do that with the minimum number of like overlaps and interchanges. And I think it's nice. Maybe you think it's nice too. With that said though, oh, let me show you an example of a road I was on today actually. I was in Walthamstow, as I believe it is called. And you go down like so many of these roads around here, and it'll look like, I actually could find the exact road that the police were really nice to me on. I think it was like this one right here. And you can see right here, if there's people on both sides, it's like, and there's cars coming both ways, you get a real struggle. But you just gotta, here when there's no cars, you just pull into one of the sides. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. Let me show you, maybe the reason why someone enjoys driving to Minnesota is because the road for solo, hey! Canadian money.
Here is some Canadian money, but you must spend it on Canadian activities. Or not, just enjoy.
I will be. I plan on going skiing in Canada, actually. There's a 2 minutes to McDonald's. No wonder. But like, yeah, if you look at this, it's long, it's flat, it's straight. If there's very little traffic on it, you can turn off your brain and think about, you know, life, the universe, and everything else. Houston, not DFW. Oh, is Katie in Houston? I've also the bigger one is the 401 in Toronto. I've driven the entire length of this. It is a silly road, chat. Let me show you the silliest road. This is why North Americans love driving. They love there's the highway for when you're going fast. There's the highway for when you're going like medium speed. Then there's the highway exits when you're coming off and on the highway, but like you have to go at highway speeds for a long time first, make sure you're really going fast. Then there's this road that goes along the side of the highway. I don't know what it's doing here, but it's apparently very important. There's just roads next to roads next to roads. And that way, if you're on your roads, you know, yo dog, I heard you like roads, so I put a road next to your roads so you can look at roads while you're road, all the roads. Look at it, it's fun. Anyway, here's enough road talk for today. Have a great evening. Don't tell IBX2Cat I'm stealing his job. And I'll look at this, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Wait, I've got to finish on Minecraft in case someone comes here at the end. And that is how. Oh, let's look at the no brightness world. I said I would, right? Also, did it convert my money into your currency? It actually did. Ryan does stuff, but don't worry, I'll spend it in your currency anyway. If you're curious, it all does it at some point anyway, because it comes in as that, but my bank account charges a giant fee. I think most bank accounts charge a giant fee. Yeah, chat. I'm gonna make a copy of this world, I guess. I'll make a copy of the no brightness world, load that one in creative, or I could just accept I'm probably never gonna use this world again. No, let's duplicate the world. I don't wanna ruin my main copy. Let's go to creative, and let's see what the Nether looks like. Not the bane of existence, Toronto. What do you dislike about Toronto? So I have to turn on cheats first. Service roads for ambulances. That is an important thing. Okay, set block. Portal. Okay, so chat, here is what the Nether looked like, but in real brightness. Wow, this is such a cool Nether. I would have never survived any other... There's no way I would have done... Like, if I'd have spawned here, like, even, like, close to the fortress, but not there, I'd have just died, chat. I got this insane luck that I spawned not just next to a fortress, but next to a spawner. Wait, there's no spawner. Oh, there's the spawner. Chat, I swear to God, I saw a spawner from here. Like, through the wall or something. I guess I was just close enough to it that it looked like a spawner. But yeah, apparently I spawned close enough to one that it would activate and blazes would come at me. And this is where they could have gotten me if they were smarter. Thank God they were not. Anyway, with that said, now we know. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Unless I don't. Unless this is your last one, you've done me enough favors. In that case, I have a suggestion. Go leave. Well, I guess I also should check it out. And also, marketplace, spooky jump scare. Also, dressing room. Oh, let me tell you about my dressing room problems, chat. So, I'm gonna have to cut this from the stream later. But the reason I've got this fun £6 Teletubby costume, but the reason I can't wear this anywhere anymore is because it's got like a butt flap, but the butt flap is permanently open now, and so it's great because it means I can poop while wearing this. But it's bad because it means everyone's going to assume that I'm using it for nefarious purposes, and that I'm trying to be a bit slutty. But I assure you, chat, this is the least slutty Minecraft stream on the internet. Okay, I'll see you around. Good night. Will I?